Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is day 29 of the September daily draws. So as we close out the weekend and approach a new week, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Mystic Palette Tarot, followed by an oracle card from the Scenes of the Witch Mabon Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, here we go. And this is the Temperance card. A beautiful Temperance card. And it's about getting things in the right balance and proportion. It's getting things in moderation. It's getting things so there is no excess in one element of our life to another. You know, we're combining the different elements of our lives together in an harmonious way to provide an integrated, healthy whole. So that's a very wordy way of saying it's wholeness and healthiness. It's balance, moderation. So this is what it's saying to us. This is what it's saying, that as we progress on our journey, as we grow, let's grow in a way that is complementary to the different aspects of our lives, emotionally, mentally, physical care, physical health as much as possible, emotional, spiritual, you know, all the different kinds of areas of our lives flowing together in a way that provides a whole that is vibrant, that has that energy to combine, to produce something, to create and manifest what we want in our lives. If we neglect one part of ourselves, you know, if we neglect one part of that, then we're missing a vital element, and the combination will become skewed, and it won't be as powerful in our lives as what it could be. Now, am I saying that everything has to be perfect in every area of our lives in order to be able to achieve anything? No, of course I'm not, because it's seldom going to happen that way. But it's what we strive for. It's what we work for. It's what experience helps to recognize when we're perhaps overdoing one aspect and not doing another aspect enough. It's always a reminder to make sure that we're keeping things in check and bringing things into balance, the different aspects of our lives. Similarly, I think tied, not quite in the same way, but it's sort of a bit like the chariot, where you've got the two sides of, you know, the white and the black horse or whatever, and the two sides, and you want to keep them on track and stop them going off in different directions. There's an element of the temperance involved in doing that. So that's really what I believe this is what it's saying. It's just try and keep things in balance, in the right proportions, and flowing in the way that works for you, because what works for me may be different to what works for you. We've got to also find that sweet spot in our own individual lives that combines to make this integrated whole that does the best for us. Because what works for me might mean that I do focus a little bit more on the mental aspect than say the emotional aspect. Not much more, not to the expense of totally ignoring the emotional by doing too much of the mental, but you can get over too much in your mind. But maybe that's where my strength is, say, perhaps in the mind. I'm not saying it is, I'm using it as an example. And thereby there will be, by proportion, a little bit more on the mental side than the emotional side. But as long as there's enough of the emotional side working with that mental, as long as that emotional level isn't too low, then it works with that higher mental element still in good proportions together with every other element, and works well for me. But that might not work well for you. You might want to have more of an emotional, spiritual element than the mental or other aspect. And what works for me may not work for you. We've got to find our own happy medium, as they say, of how we can help things flow harmoniously. So that's what this card is saying. And yes, it's a challenge. It's that we can't. It comes by trial and error. It comes by daily practice, by being self-aware to knowing when one thing's out of skew, and we need to perhaps bring it back into balance a bit more. That's the key, and that's what it's suggesting to us as we close out this weekend and perhaps approach the week. Okay, let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. A harvest witch. Well, Mabon's a harvest time. We're in the harvest period. What sacrifices have you made for the greater vision of what is to be? Sometimes, as I was saying, sometimes we have to let go of certain things in our lives for the greater good of our overall vision and journey and growth. Some things outlive their usefulness and we have to release them. What do we have to do that? Maybe to bring some of that balance and harmony to our lives, there are things we have to pour out, to let go of, in order to get that right mixture. But the overall message is to get that harmonious integration, that flow, that balance that works for us in order to be able to grow and move forward. Okay, so that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 30. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.